The rain had just started when Mara found them. She almost didn't stop. It was late, her feet hurt, and the twins, Noah and Eli, were finally asleep in the borrowed stroller she pushed home from the night shift. The alley behind the old textile warehouse was a shortcut she'd taken 100 times. Dark, yes, quiet, always, safe enough, until she heard a sound that didn't belong. A sharp, broken gasp. Mara froze. Then she saw him, a man slumped against the brick wall, his white shirt soaked crimson, one arm wrapped tightly around two small figures curled against his chest. Twin boys, no older than 6. One of them was crying silently, mouth open, no sound coming out. The other stared straight ahead, eyes too old for his face. The man lifted his head when he saw her. "Please," he said, voice barely there. Don't take them." Mara's heart slammed into her ribs. "I'm not," she said immediately, rushing forward. "I'm not taking anyone. Oh my God, you're shot." He gave a faint, almost amused breath. "Yes, I noticed." She dropped the stroller, waking her own twins, and pressed her scarf hard against his side. Blood soaked through instantly. "What happened?" she asked. "Later," he said. "Just call someone, not the police." "That's not your call," she snapped, though her hands shook. He met her eyes then. Dark, focused, terrified, not for himself. "For them," he whispered. "If anything happens, please. Their names are Lucas and Leo. They like pancakes burned on one side. They hate thunderstorms." Mara swallowed. "You're not dying." He smiled faintly, like he didn't believe her. Sirens came anyway. Someone else must have called. Paramedics pulled him onto a stretcher, pried the boys gently from his arms. One of them screamed. Mara didn't think. She just stepped forward and opened her arms. "Hey," she said softly. "I've got you." They clung to her like she was solid ground. The hospital was chaos. Social services arrived fast when no mother appeared. Mara tried to leave. She had work tomorrow, rent overdue, 2 kids of her own, but Lucas wouldn't let go of her sleeve. "They said you saved us," he whispered. So she stayed. For hours. The man, Mr. Hale, they said, was in surgery. No visitors. No details. Just whispered conversations among doctors that made Mara uneasy. "He's stable," a nurse finally said near dawn. "You know him?" Mara shook her head. "Found him in an alley." The nurse blinked. "You don't recognize him?" "No." The nurse hesitated, then laughed softly. "That's probably refreshing for him." "For who?" The nurse leaned closer. "That's Adrian Hale, CEO of Hale International." The name hit like thunder. Billionaire, tech empire, front page man with the perfect suits and colder than ice reputation. The kind of man Mara only saw on screens in break rooms. Mara looked down at the boys asleep against her shoulders. They snored. Adrian woke 2 days later. The first thing he saw was a woman asleep in a chair, one arm wrapped protectively around his son's, her head tipped back, exhaustion carved into every line of her face. Memory came rushing back. The ambush, the pain, the fear. He tried to speak, failed. Mara startled awake instantly. "You're awake," she said. "Don't move. You're stitched together like a quilt." He smiled weakly. "You stayed. Someone had to," she said. "Their mother." His face closed. "Died 3 years ago." "I'm sorry." "So am I," he said quietly. They sat in silence until he said, "You could have walked away." "I almost did," she admitted. "But I'm a mom. We don't leave kids in alleys." Adrian studied her like she was a puzzle he hadn't known existed. "What's your name?" "Mara." "Thank you, Mara." The media storm came fast. Security, lawyers, assistants, offers of money Mara couldn't pronounce. She refused interviews, refused checks. "I didn't do it for that," she said. Adrian noticed everything. The way she packed lunches with handwritten notes. The way her twins shared without being asked. The way she spoke to his sons like they mattered, not like they were fragile glass. When he was discharged, he made her an offer. "Come work for me," he said. "Anything you want." She shook her head. "I don't belong in your world." Adrian looked at his sons laughing with hers on the hospital floor. "Maybe," he said, "my world needs to change." Months later, the warehouse alley was cleaned, lit, reborn into a park funded by an anonymous donor. Mara moved into a home she still insisted on paying rent for. Adrian learned how to burn pancakes on one side. They were not a fairy tale. They were stitched together, by blood, by choice, by the night a single mom stopped walking and decided not to leave. And that, it turned out, was the richest thing any of them had ever found.